Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. One of the worst things you can do in your marriage is report your spouse to either our parents or your own parents. The husband reporting his wife to his own parents or his in-laws, or the wife reporting her husband to our own parents or our in-laws. That is one of the worst things you can ever do in your marriage. Why am I saying this? As a practicing marital counselor, I can tell you professionally and experientially too that the marriages that break these days, one of the major causes is this: involvement or intervention by parents. Either they are called or they just intervene. Okay, why is it so? You see, naturally, parents are unavoidably sentimental. The first thing is that they are emotional when it comes to issues pertaining to their children. As a parent, I am naturally emotional about my children. You are naturally emotional. That is how we had been wired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why, as a counselor, it is unethical for me to counsel my children, my relations, because the possibility of me being emotional, sentimental is high. It is natural. So that is the first thing. Parents can be emotional, and by effect they are likely to be sentimental. It may not be at the start of the issue. Okay, the wife reports her husband to her home parents. They might, reprimand their daughter. No, you are the bad wife. You are the this. But in the long run, the narrative may change. Why? Because as you keep reporting your husband to your parents, or your wife to your parents, what you are saying invariably is that you are opening the nyash of your spouse. You are telling your parents the shortcomings of your wife, of your husband. You are telling them how devilish, how vicious your husband or your wife is. And naturally, some of those things they will not like. They might stomach them at the beginning, but you see, in the long run, they may not. So when you report your husband to his own parents, or your wife to her own parents, they may at first reprimand their son or daughter. No, you are the bad husband. No, you are the bad wife. But as you complain about your wife to our parents are also seeing your own errors. As you grumble about your husband to his parents, they are also seeing your errors. And that's why in the long run it turns out to be to be a skirmish between the two families. These parents, the parents of the husband on the one side, the parents of the wife on the on the other side. Okay, that's, I'm talking experientially here. You know, I've had to settle matters between two warring families. The family of the husband, the family of the wife. Okay, so, and this is why it is not the best for you to report your spouse to either your own parents or his or her parents. Don't do that. Okay, when we talk about third-party intervention in marriage, two things are involved. I've said this at different fora. We have internal third parties, we have external third parties. Internal third parties are your relations, your parents, your siblings, your nibblings, your piblings, and so on. Those are internal, first class. External third parties, your friends, your imams, your counselors, and so on and so forth. So between internal and external, professional experience has taught me, has preached to me that couples should involve external before internal. And the external we are talking about here should either be a professional who is trained to handle that, an arbitrator, a marital counselor, or at least a cleric who is experienced, an imam who knows how to deal with matrimonial issues. Not all imams. Okay, not all imams. The fact that someone speaks Arabic, he has a knowledge of doesn't mean that he can arbitrate between couples, and that is not a defect. It is just that we can't know everything. There is no Mr. Know-all. Okay, so look at, so there are clerics who may not be professionals, but they have the experience. It is better to involve them. Okay, keep your parents out of your matrimony, your marital union. Keep them out of it. Let them be having what is that word? Let them be thinking, be having this kind of thinking that your marriage is perfect. Why? Because they don't know what is going on. You've never complained to them, whereas it has never been perfect. It has never been rosy. It is just that. So they don't know anything. They will see your husband as an angel. They will see your wife as an angel because you are not reporting to them. That is better. So when do you involve your family members, your parents, and so on and so forth? That is when all options had failed you. As the last resort, that is when you involve them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this regard says, hakaman min ahlihi wa hakaman min ahliha. When you can no more handle the matter, okay, then fab'athu hakaman min ahlihi wa hakaman min ahliha. Then what you can say hakaman, not necessarily your parents, because it is not all parents who have the acumen, the dexterity to settle matrimonial issues. Okay, so wise persons from both families, wise intellectuals from both families. If it is the parents, so be it. If it is it may be uncles, it may be aunts, and so on and so forth. This I gave you as a piece of advice. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep upholding our homes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.